Hello. You are welcome to Story World. Jane and Jessica were identical twins, but that's where the similarities ended. Jane was kind-hearted, gentle, and always the favorite among friends and family. Jessica, on the other hand, grew increasingly envious as they grew older. The attention Jane received was like a dagger twisting in her heart with every smile, every compliment that wasn't hers. Their bond, once unbreakable, had frayed over the years, and Jessica's jealousy morphed into something darker. Jane had everything Jessica craved: love, admiration, and success. Though they shared the same face, their lives took drastically different paths. While Jane flourished in her career, Jessica struggled to keep up, always in her sister's shadow. Point one evening, Jessica's envy reached its peak. The sisters sat in their family home for dinner, as they had done many times before. Jane, unaware of the storm brewing inside Jessica, spoke excitedly about her upcoming promotion. Jessica smiled outwardly, but inside, her heart festered with jealousy. As Jane excused herself to make tea, Jessica followed her into the kitchen. Her eyes fell on the small vial of poison she had hidden in her purse days before. It was then she made her fateful decision. As Jane's back was turned, Jessica swiftly poured the deadly liquid into her sister's cup. "Tea's ready," Jane said, handing Jessica her cup, unaware of the fate that awaited her. Jessica watched with a mixture of guilt and satisfaction as Jane sipped from her cup. That night, Jane began to feel unwell. She brushed it off as exhaustion and went to bed early, but as the hours passed, her condition worsened. By morning, she was gone. Her death was ruled as a sudden, inexplicable illness, leaving everyone in shock. Jessica played the role of the grieving sister perfectly. Her tears flowed freely at the funeral, and she accepted the condolences of friends and family. Yet, despite her outward performance, a growing sense of unease gnawed at her soul. Weeks passed, but Jessica could not escape the crushing guilt. At night, she would lie awake, her mind tormented by the knowledge of what she had done. Then, the strange occurrences began. It started small, doors creaking open when no one was around, footsteps echoing in the hallway when she was alone, and whispers in the dark. Jessica tried to brush it off as her imagination, but the events grew more intense. One night, she woke up to the sound of soft sobbing coming from the corner of her bedroom. Terrified, she turned on the light and saw nothing. But the sobbing continued, faint and heart-wrenching, just like Jane's cries in her final moments. Each night, the haunting grew more personal. Jane's face began to appear in the mirror, her once warm eyes now filled with sorrow and accusation. "Why, Jessica?" the ghostly apparition would whisper. "Why did you do it?" Jessica tried to run from the visions, but there was no escape. Jane's spirit clung to her like a shadow. The guilt weighed heavier with each passing day, and her life began to unravel. She could no longer sleep, eat, or focus on anything but the relentless haunting of her sister. Desperate for relief, Jessica sought out spiritual healers, priests, and anyone who could rid her of the torment. But no amount of prayers or rituals could free her from Jane's ghost. One evening, after months of enduring the torment, Jessica stood before Jane's grave, her hands trembling. The wind howled through the cemetery as she fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry," Jessica sobbed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm so sorry, Jane. I was jealous, and I couldn't take it anymore. I poisoned you. I killed you. Please, forgive me." As the words left her mouth, a sudden stillness fell over the graveyard. The wind stopped, and the air grew eerily quiet. For a moment, Jessica thought she was alone. But then, a soft, familiar voice filled the air. "I forgive you, Jessica." It was Jane. Jessica looked up and saw her sister standing there, not as the vengeful spirit she had seen in her nightmares, but as the kind and loving Jane she had once known. Her face was peaceful, free from the torment that had plagued Jessica for so long. "I never wanted your life," Jane said softly. "I only wanted us to be sisters, to share in each other's joy. But now, it's too late." With that, Jane's spirit began to fade, dissolving into the night. Jessica watched as her sister disappeared, leaving behind only the crushing weight of her guilt. Jane was gone, and though she had forgiven her, Jessica knew that she would never forgive herself. From that day on, Jessica lived in the shadow of her crime, forever haunted, not by Jane's ghost, but by the memory of her sister's love, a love she had destroyed out of jealousy. Their house grew silent, and while Jane's spirit no longer troubled her, Jessica found no peace. The guilt of her actions remained a constant companion, a reminder of the bond she had shattered and the life she had stolen.